Hi everyone, this is Eric with lobacomservices.com, and I'm coming at you another Access tutorial talking about using the datasheet view in Access. So in this video you're going to find out how to work with such features in your Access database table like entering data, uh, which is basic. If you're if you're allowed to enter into a data sheet, and maybe you're allowed to enter into a query, like a view, finding, replacing data, freezing columns, deleting records, moving columns around, sorting columns. Well, we're going to actually put that into a second video, sorting and filtering and copying data down. So let's get to it. Again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'm going to bring out my... We're using this here table, uh, the customer table in Northwind, the famous Northwind database. So you could actually use this from your own table too. But just some concepts here. Entering data, well, actually moving around the data sheet. If you have a data sheet table, want to go ahead and open up your table. A lot of companies don't. Well, you have a link. These are all local tables, and this is like your typical Excel worksheet, except you don't have Excel has its own features, and it's set up to be like a calculation. Uh, its strengths are calculation and ease of work and charts and things like that. Access data sheets are great to hold data, and don't want to see all that. Access data sheets are great to hold data, but you need to figure out they work a little bit differently than Excel worksheets, but they're very similar in some respects. So you have your fields or your columns, and you have your rows. Notice I have a skinny arrow to select a column. I use a skinny arrow to select. These are all on your left side. You have row selectors. On the top, you have field selectors. Okay. Remember, I was saying that in a prior video that we have two views, and this is like the skin view. This is the design view is like the structural view. It's like the skeleton. So here we have the skin view. Okay, to enter a new record, we can either choose this button right here, the arrowhead to the right with the asterisk, or we could just navigate down to it. I don't know if this is going to shut off my video, but we could use these record selector buttons to go back and forth. Notice that. And I can use the arrowhead to the left with the vertical bar to go to the first one. Okay, and the arrowhead to the left, or to the right with the vertical bar to go to the last record. I can use tab to get to my tab through each field, and also to select the value in that field. Okay, if I use the arrow, I can too, but notice that if I decide I'm going to change the address to something different, okay, I'll just change the whole value. I'm going to have to rename it or click inside the field to be able to select the value. So if I want to change this from T to H. Also notice on the left side of your screen, we're in pencil mode. I like to call pencil mode or edit mode. Okay, that means that it hasn't been committed to the database yet. The Excel cell data, the Access datasheet will save automatically. You don't have to go up there and save it all the time. But in this case, notice that right now, if we do have a power outage or something, if the table does leave us, um, or it decides to close for some reason, this change will not be made. We have to go ahead and click the button to commit it to the database. Same with Wellington. Notice that I'm clicking and I enter into pencil mode because I'm about to edit the record. So that's a lot of confusion for somebody who's coming from an Excel standpoint, because they're looking up here they're making a change and looking up here for a save. Well, you don't really need to do that. You're always going to go ahead and um, it's already being saved if you're out of pencil mode. What I like to do is go down here, press F2 on my keyboard, and then I'm entering into datasheet mode. Because I like to use the keyboard, I don't like to use the mouse per se. So entering it at a new piece of data, so I'm entering via my tab key, and let's say I'm entering a customer ID of ideas, and then my company name is going to be uh, the and it automatically autocorrects the idea. I guess I have my tab key done. Idea company, and I could do that I could do the same thing for the other fields. Let's see if it complains. Okay, that's all I need. So that's how I enter information in there. Again, if here I was able to enter the primary keys. Some of y'all have auto numbers, and those serve as primary keys. And that's primary key again is a unique reference to every row in the table. So we have a primary key of, we can't enter two Wilhelm keys. Okay, if I enter in Wilhelm key again, I can't do it. Let's see. I'm just gonna put in some scratch here, and it's gonna complain. It's gonna say the change you request to the table that's successful because you can't do that because it has two. You can't have. This is a primary key, so it has to have a unique value in here. So, and to get out of that, I press escape, ESC, to erase whatever I've done. So even if I go in here and I change the ideas on in pencil mode, I decide, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. I can press ESC and get out of pencil mode, and it kind of undoes whatever I just did. All right. Freezing columns. Let's say I want to go ahead here and I want to freeze this column. Okay, I can right click and choose freeze, and it's going to move it over here to the left of my screen. Notice if I want to sort by cities and see the customers in each city. So here I can right click, also I choose A to Z, and then I can search for just like London, for instance. Okay, these are the customers in London. And notice that I go through there, my field is frozen over here on the left side. If I right click this and choose unfreeze, then it goes back to be unfrozen. But I will have to move this over again because I didn't take the liberty of doing that. So the way I'm going to move this is by clicking on the header and by dragging it, okay, so first of all, I clicked on it, left clicked on it, and then I drag it over to where it was, address. And these cosmetic changes, I'm going to go ahead and it's going to ask me whenever I close this, so I got to say, do you want to save the changes to the cosmetic view? Because I moved the column around. Okay, watch this. Yes. Now when I open it back up again, I'm going to have city over here in the column. Now notice also it's saved by sort. Saved by sort. So here I want to go ahead and choose remove sort, get out of this mode, get out of the sort, and the database remembers its original state. So it's always going to sort by the primary key, whatever the primary key is. It's going to serve as the main index for the table. So we really just saved we saved the cosmetic view and also the sort here in the city field. And we're going to remove the sort. Again, I'm using my scroll wheel to scroll down through the records here. Deleting records. If I don't want this, I highlight the row with my arrowhead to the right, and then I press my delete key, and it's going to complain because the way the relationships are right now, it's just going to say, okay, well, orders has related records, so I can't delete this. If I have cascading deletes on here, I could, but I don't. I don't on here. So it is warning me, which is a safeguard. That is good. But I could delete the record I just added. Let's see, where's ideas? Remember they sorted it in ideas because this is my new record. So I can right click and choose delete record. Okay. That's how you go about deleting it. Moving columns around. Okay. Let's say I wanted to by postal code. I could left click on postal code. Notice how my arrow changes to a left pointing arrow. I could drag this over here to the left. I could drag it to the right. And notice that these are cosmetic changes. These are cosmetic changes, which means that my skeleton didn't change. So if I go into design view, postal code is not going to be the field after contact name. Okay, postal code is still this field. So if you want to make permanent changes, go into the design view and make your changes. Make your move around these columns. If you want to make just temporary changes, you missed where yes. If you want to make temporary changes, make them in the datasheet view. If you want to make permanent changes, change them in the design view. If you want to make temporary changes, change them in the datasheet view. And where did this go? Postal code after, I guess it was right here. Okay. Now, Excel and Access does have a potential. Let's talk about copying down rows. Maybe you want to have this Kittle, and then Kittle Enterprises. enterprises, and maybe you're like me and can't type real fast. So go over here to city. They're also in whatever that is, Warsaw, and you want to copy that row down. So a little trick, and it's if you want to make it analogous to Excel's autofill, you press Control apostrophe, and it copies the value from above it. Same, that'll work with forms and all that good stuff, but it just saves you from having to type it over again. And they're in Poland, Control W, and they don't have the same phone number. And so I could press that, and maybe they're a little bit different, 01-013. And that's that. So on the next video, we're going to talk about filtering and more sorting and some other things that pop into my head. But make sure you leave your comments in the comments below. Like the video if you got all the value at it, and make sure and subscribe to the channel. And if you want me to handle any big issues with your databases or little issues, call me at or contact me at lowbecomeservices.com. Thanks for your attention. Bye bye.